happy October. I enjoyed ranking Halloween specials so much last year that I decided we'll do it again this year, but I was also very intimidated because I loved my Bugaboo makeup last time. So as you can see, I did the absolute most. My grandma thought these were tiger stripes. It's supposed to be a brain. Do you see that it's a brain? I'm overcompensating for my lack of one. The seasonal uploads are upon us, woot lovers! Welcome to another Ranking Things, the series where I share my opinions. You guys hate them. You scream at me in the comments. I love doing this. This time I asked you to send me your favorite Halloween specials, and I took suggestions through my community tab, my Instagram, and my Discord. I'll be sure to share my Discord and Instagram links in the pinned comment below. Starting off strong with Sofia the First. I have not watched this since my lore video, and it was an absolute treat to go back to it. I was suggested a couple of Halloween specials, but I really liked the butterfly episode, so I went with that one. And let me tell you, watching season 1 Amber is such a trip. She's truly a different person by the end of the series, to the point where I forgot how insufferable she was. She's an icon, she's a great singer. That's not lit up. Wait 1 second. At the start of the episode, Amber is so pissed that she has to make her own costume for the contest, because every other year she won with the costumes the castle servants made for her.
You're saying I can't buy my way to victory? I have to actually have talent? But talent's for poor people!
Honestly, even though she cheated using Cedric's magic, her costume looks incredible. I want this exact outfit. And obviously Cedric's only helping Amber as a ploy to get the amulet. It's season 1 Cedric too. Oh, how far they've all come. Single tear running down my face. I just wish this episode had a better song. The song this episode was so forgettable. It was like muffled in the background. It was supposed to be like an ambient song. I wish there was a banger this episode, and it's one of the few episodes where there's none. Also, the fairy godmothers hearing just enough of the Sofia and Amber conflict to gather the message of sisterly love, but not enough to suspect Cedric of anything. Oh my god, it's hilarious. I remember watching this series for the first time and thinking almost every episode that Cedric was gonna get caught, but they're so comically oblivious. Also, when Amber asked the fairies if they could turn her back to normal, Fauna's response of course, we can do anything, still freaks me out. What do you mean by that, Fauna? Is that a threat? I'm gonna rank this episode at A tier. It was a really good episode, but other than the costume contest, there wasn't a lot of Halloween spirit, unfortunately. That's on me. I chose to watch this episode. There were other ones suggested, but whatever. Next up, we have the stop-motion Spongebob Halloween special, which I didn't know was a thing. I thought they only did stop-motion for that one Christmas episode. That intro alone was so much fun, and just from that, I knew it was going to be better than the Christmas one. The bat jellyfish that devoured a cookie from the gloved live-action human hand. It's so silly and unsettling. Exactly the energy I'm looking for. One of the limitations of the stop motion style is that they don't put SpongeBob and Patrick in the helmets when they're visiting Sandy's tree dome, and it always throws me off. I'm a big SpongeBob fan. I know the SpongeBob lore. No, I will never do a SpongeBob lore. Alex Bale already has that covered. I was just about to praise the gloved hand making multiple appearances, but this brain smacking and poking, along with Patrick's very over-the-top joyous expressions to the point of him rolling his eyes to the back of his head, makes this a contender for scenes that make me uncomfortable part 3. There was some strange sexual undertones here that shouldn't have been. I hated it, quite frankly. I also wish Squidward's lips weren't super voluptuous. I don't know what to do with that information. I loved seeing the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket's haunted houses roasting each other, with the Krusty Krab pretending to be the Chum Bucket, making fun of their food, and then Plankton's haunted house was pretending to be the Krusty Krab, accusing the Krusty Krab of using fish flesh for their patties, which is not only slanderous, but also a very funny nod to all the fan theories online. I thought they only addressed this in that one episode where Mr. Krabs scared Plankton by putting plankton as one of the ingredients. But no, they did this joke multiple times. And I'm sorry to say it, but it was very funny. The Flying Dutchman's design was perfect. Like, some of the character designs in this claymation style or stop motion style, I don't like. A whole section of my holiday specials was me just absolutely roasting the way they made Santa look. It really alarmed me and made me sad. But the Flying Dutchman, oh my gosh, spot on. And the Flying Dutchman song, the song itself was good, but the visuals, phenomenal. It's so much flying in your face all at once. The buffet of heads, the horse skulls, followed by whatever this is. Genuinely freaky. Wow. Ben described the Flying Dutchman ghost song as Beetlejuice meets the Muppets, and I totally see that. Since stop motion is so time-consuming and expensive, it's always nice to see the medium prove itself as worth the extra effort by showing off ways where virtual art just can't substitute it. Like, that whole sequence would not have had the same effect if it was done with virtual art, as great as that is in other ways. Ways that are actually shown when we're looking inside SpongeBob's brain. When the Flying Dutchman failed to scare SpongeBob, he snatched all of his friends' souls. Mr. Krabs and Squidward even got to witness some kids egging their corpses. Brutal. I'm really impressed with the continuity too, with Plankton explaining that he was in SpongeBob's brain once and it was terrifying. I was wondering what timeline we were in, the Camp Coral or the OG series, and I believe we're in the OG series timeline. I was going to say A tier, but that song overshadowed any cringe, no matter how cursed. It's S tier. I'm such a hoe for mixed media. I had a handful of suggestions for Underfist, but I had never heard of this Billy and Mandy spin-off special. I think this was supposed to be a backdoor pilot for a whole series, but that never came to fruition. It's just a one-off thing. The scene with the spider webs, and him encouraging his non-spider friend to push one out too, which causes the little pig elephant dude to shit. We might have another contender for Uncomfortable Scenes Part 3. Jeez. I should have known they were all hiding in Halloween specials. What's scarier than weird, kinky shit? Literally. The Give Up song is everything to me.
Try to give up.
I love the way Haas Delgado talks. Whose idea were these soda rifles? They don't do anything!
That's not entirely true.
They made my
clothes all sticky and gross.
No, now I'm likely to get a rash. It's so funny. I hate how amused I am, because that just makes me wish this was a whole series. Kinda. I have my critiques too, alright? Let's get through these notes. Side note, before I watched, I thought this guy's name would be Underfist. But that's just the team name? The superhero team name? Whole time, I thought this guy was the titular bitchular. Because he looks like he has an under fist. His fist is... But no, that's just Haas Delgado. All the candy fighters are so much fun. The peanut butter cups as ninja stars. The candy skulls. Pointy candy corn teeth. Trick-or-treater eaters was also a great song, but I had to look away from the screen a couple of times because gross out humor just makes me almost hurl. And there was one visual, I didn't like it. It's just classic Nickelodeon being weird with like body stuff. Speaking of songs, sorry, a lot of good songs this episode. I Don't Want to Grow Up had so much potential, and I liked the song as is, but they got really silly at the end.
I don't wanna grow up.
And my musical theater ass just wanted a powerful, stretched out harmony. Cause they were so close to doing it, I'm just gonna have to do it right now. I don't wanna grow up. I love how silly this special is. The fact that the Marshmallow Bunny villain is responsible for everything that happened to these guys, stretching as far back as Delgado's childhood.
I was the monster who haunted Haas Delgado's childhood.
If my bones and organs weren't crushed right now, I'd totally kick your butt.
How old is this man? He's probably stale as shit. He's probably hard. Whoa, no. Just like with the mole guy at the end of The Incredibles, a new challenger approaches at the very end, and Underfist jumps in trying to take them down, showing that this is only the start for this crime-fighting team. And I genuinely think this had a lot of potential for a fun slapstick superhero show. It's just a very hard market to break through. There are way too many hero shows. And I guess that's why this ended up being a standalone thing. It's low A tier, even though I really, really, really enjoyed it and I was laughing a bunch. I think that the pacing could have been better. I think that this easily could have been a 30-minute special as opposed to a little over an hour. I got suggestions for Ant Farm. Now, this isn't a show that's usually recommended to me, so I was surprised until I was reminded of a little bop called Calling All the Monsters. Calling All the Monsters. Calling All the Monsters. Which is an S tier song, but I never watched the episode it was from until now. I thought the 2011 snake animation would be the scariest thing, but right off the bat we start with some boomer humor.
I didn't know she was a monster till after we were married, which actually happens to a lot of guys.
Wife, bad! So this episode takes place in an alternate reality. They didn't wake up cursed or anything. This version of China is just a monster. And the exceptional students aren't the ant farm, they're the mutant farm. They don't even say mutant farm, so the pun doesn't even work. Whatever. Another joke from the bully.
Don't turn me to stone, I'd instantly gain 2,000 pounds.
What a knee slapper. Oh, fuck, ow. What a knee slapper. Body shaming. Angus the zombie also keeps eating people, because that's like a zombie thing to do, but weirdly that felt a little too edgy for Disney Channel. Body shaming and woman hating, that's just par for the course. But I draw the line at zombies doing zombie shit. The song at the end is great, but don't get me wrong, it's the only thing this episode has going for it for me. If it didn't have the song, it would legitimately go an F, but instead, it's C. If you aren't nostalgic for the show, it's pretty dull. Scary Godmother 2. I covered the first Scary Godmother in last year's video, so I don't know why I was surprised that the sequel, Scary Godmother The Revenge of Jimmy, had that same Never Have a Friend Like Me ripoff in the title sequence. I don't know how Disney didn't sue them. Something unsettling is that when the beady-eyed children get shocked or scared, they gain whites in their eyes that bulge and vibrate. Jimmy has waged a war against Halloween because he's still so bitter and angry that he got scared last Halloween. Bushy-eyed bitch boy trope working hard with this one. We see Scary Godmother cooking leaves for fall until they turn orange. Not only creative and aesthetically pleasing, but it also shows just how powerful she is. She's like an autumn season fairy. Jimmy's face gets stuck in this shit-eating grin. And poor Hannah's still trying to be nice to the guy, even though he's still mean to her, and all she gets back is that fucking face on his face.
Fucking face on your face!
Vampire Kid asks Hannah what she's gonna be for Halloween. And the joke is that she said like 20 different things. But the one that stood out to me the most was telemarketer. How do you dress as a telemarketer? What are you supposed to be? I'll give you a hint. Oh, okay, you're talking on the phone. A cog in the cat. It looks like she's trying to sell him something. Looks like she's trying to sell somebody something. You look super defeated. She's looking very defeated, yeah. Oh, telemarketer! Sick, dude! Scary. Harry the disproportionate werewolf then gives the audience a content warning for violence before Jimmy just kicks the shit out of some pumpkins. And laughs maniacally. It zooms out, and dude, this kid has his work cut out for him. There are a lot of pumpkins. And that's just in one yard. After he's done destroying those pumpkins, he'll be like,
"Yes, I finally stopped Halloween!"
Dude, it's Christmas. It's been like 2 months. Where have you been? The next day, the kids are exclaiming that all the pumpkins are ruined. Not only is that physically impossible, but I can also see with my eyes that plenty of the pumpkins are perfectly fine. Unharmed even, so maybe they're just not looking hard enough? This movie really raised the stakes and explained more about this monster world. We see now that the human's positive or negative association of Halloween can make things in the world disappear and reappear. No wonder Scary Godmother works so hard to make sure everyone has a happy Halloween. Because if people don't, poof, her trees are gone. In this next section, we see the narrator describe all the nefarious deeds Jimmy's doing.
Jimmy crept out into the night to continue his dastardly plan.
We see Jimmy snuck out and he left the door wide open. When Jimmy came back, his whole family was dead. How spooky is that? The end. I'm just kidding, but when Halloween morale got dangerously low after Jimmy destroyed all the costumes and candy, the monsters world just stopped existing. It was a void of nothing. Scary Godmother explained to Hannah that she needed to save her monster friends by saving Halloween. Cut to a recipe that kids at home can try? And damn it, I'm gonna try it too. Since a sniper wolf's not the only one that can microwave a marshmallow. See? I can too. Now give me 34 million subs. Holy crap. I just have to ask, is this the thanks I get for putting you bitches on? Oh my god. Oh my god. That was incredible. I love s'mores. And I remembered as I was eating, I was talking about s'mores to my friend from the UK.
Hell yeah, random tangent.
And he was like, s'mores? What do you mean s'mores? And I was like, s'mores? Marshmallow, chocolate, graham cracker? He's like, we don't have those here. I'm like, you must call them something else, maybe. He's like, no, we just don't have them. So like, s'mores are apparently extinct in the UK. In other news, I never want to go to the UK again. Okay, now back to the movie. Jimmy laughing until his teeth sharpened genuinely genuinely alarmed me, and it took me a few more seconds to realize, holy shit, it's not just his teeth, he's transforming into some kind of demon. This kid's gonna be in my nightmares. I didn't think the stakes could get any higher than the reality poofing out of existence, but the next big morale lowerer made the monsters turn into things that were the exact antithesis of them. Bugaboo is tiny, the skeleton fell apart, the vampires are alive, Scary Godmother lost her color, and the werewolf lost his shirt. He lost the least, but is taking it the worst. I guess he really liked that shirt. And it's funny because if his shirt is what makes him a werewolf, then none of the Twilight werewolves are werewolves. The day was saved, and in a really cute way, S tier. This was so charming. Like, from the first one, I already knew I loved the characters, but I genuinely liked the sequel way more. Because their iconic characters were utilized even better with a stronger story. The first movie was like, oh, look who's coming through the door, a monster, and Hannah goes, ah, and the monster's like, no, you don't need to be scared of me, and then another monster, and she goes, ah, and they're like, no, you don't need to be scared of me, and it just wasn't moving in the same way that this one does. This movie has multiple locations, multiple storylines, and it was way less repetitive. Fully obsessed. This is going to be an every year watch. The Invader Zim Halloween special. So it all starts with Dib having some sort of curse on him, but the class just thinks he's crazy. So they want to use one of their crazy cards on him to send him to the crazy house for boys. The teacher reminds them that they only have 3 crazy cards a month. So many questions. Do they always use all 3? Is there a crazy house for other genders? Or is this punishment only for the boys? Are there crazy houses for girls as well, but there's another 3 cards that you use? Or do the crazy cards apply to everyone, even though the loony bins are gendered? You can take me out of the lore series, but you can't keep the lore from being in my stupid little brain. I thought the show was paced faster, but with how off the walls it is, it was somehow still losing my attention. That's a me problem. I'm just sharing my thoughts, okay? This show actually loses me quite often because I thought the whole joke was, haha, Zim is an alien and he doesn't understand human culture. But because all the humans are such characters too, he doesn't even feel that out of place. I genuinely don't get it. And I want to, because this seems like something I should enjoy. The alive cage is really cool. Honestly, all the monster designs are really awesome, and that's very important for a Halloween special. So I gotta give credit where credit is due. And especially in the Invader Zim style, this was like built for creepy shit. All the monsters being fired, literally. I found the joke funny, even though I do not know what to make of the plot. I did not know what was happening the entire time I was watching. The way he teleported out of his head through his head and then appeared on the other side, inside out, made me want to fucking vomit. I'm so scared of the Zim fans. You guys need to understand that people's opinions can change over time. Maybe this show will grow on me the more I'm exposed to it. Maybe I need to really understand the character dynamics more. I don't know, dude, but it's B tier for me. It's B tier for me. I like the Christmas special a lot better. I think it just varies episode to episode for me. For me personally. This is my opinion. Count Koopula, Super Mario Bros. I'm never ready for how catchy that theme song is. We're the Mario Brothers, and Plemons Arcane, we're not like the others who get all the fame. And I'm so glad they included that in the latest Mario movie, by the way. So this is King Koopa, and this is Princess Toadstool. And I'm an imbecile, because I thought these were different characters, but King Koopa is Bowser. Princess Toadstool is Peach. They just have nicknames because they're very popular. Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Toadstool are stuck in a storm in Turtlevania. And when one of Bowser's minions steals their spaghetti, they're lured straight to him. They used the Mario da-na-na-na-na-na as Halloweeny underscoring, and it worked. It was really clever. There's tomato sauce sucking vampires.
Tomato sauce sucking vampires!
Iconic. Also, this version of Toad is so much more useful than he's ever been in any other Mario iteration. He's actually the most useful one in the team, in this episode at least. Honestly, the only one slowing down the entire group is Mario, constantly talking about the tomato sauce and getting them caught. Hey, if you're a plumber, then pipe down. Bowser exclaimed, "You can do what you want with the faucet, freaks, but don't hurt the princess." Aww. Why did that make me aw? Why did that make me aw? Aw. If he wasn't so bad, his crush would be kinda sweet. Peaches, 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 peaches. While I'm here and referencing the movie again, I made this Tumblr post after I saw it, and I stand by what I said. It's literally Frozen, but instead of sisters, they're brothers, and instead of ice, it's fire. Okay? And I just think that's kinda cool. The chase sequences also feel very Scooby-Doo inspired, which is always welcome in my book, and it ends with one of my favorite tropes, where somebody says something that's not even funny, and they all laugh so hard and for so long as the show ends and fades out to black.
Yo, my brother, the pasta vampire.
A tier. This was a blast. It wasn't the best of the best, but I had a lot of fun. Smiling Friends. Oh boy, I love the Christmas episode, so I already was feeling really good about it. It opens with a Twilight Zone-esque live action bit with the square aspect ratio and everything. It positively tickled me. This is a show exclusively for silly gooses, okay? The boss tells Pym not to go over this rickety bridge, but that's where the girthy wood is.
These twigs are nice and all, but I wish I had something with a bit more girth.
So he goes over anyway. And not to brag or anything, but I totally saw it coming. As soon as the boss is like, don't do that, I knew he was gonna do it. You can't fool me. Can't pull a fast one on me. Also, in another unsurprising turn of events, I love Pym. He's just trying his best and trying to be happy wherever he goes. The only other episode I saw of Smiling Friends, like I mentioned, was for last year's December holiday special. And that one focused on Charlie, so I couldn't go off like how I just did about Pym because I didn't really know him, but oh, poor Pym. I just want the best for Pym. The Forest Demon is so unsettling. I know he was immediately taken out, but still, I don't know what I'm looking at. Is it claymation? Also, it's super impressive how the cartoons interact with his corpse. How are they eating the claymation man? How did they do that? Animation wizards, I don't trust them, I'm scared. This is how the episode ends, by the way. The live-action Twilight Zone man gives a thought-provoking monologue about the true terrors within the human mind, before walking away in his underwear. S tier, I'm so happy this show exists. I can't even compare it to anything else I've ever seen. Like maybe Amazing World of Gumball, in that the universe is just a clusterfuck of mixed media, which is always a treat for the eyes. I've said it once, I've said it again, I've said it 1,000 times. I love mixed media. Big Time Rush. As many of you guys know, I was a Big Time Rush girly. I went into some of the cringiest parts of that during my Teen Magazine deep dive. Very underrated video. It was a lot of fun. You should check it out. First of all, they didn't Halloweenify the theme song. I totally remember them doing that. It's kind of weak that they didn't. This is another alternate universe where they're just monsters. Dr. Rockenstein creating the monster boy band. That's fun. I like this in theory. The vampire hunter being named Muffy was cute. Cute little nod to, Buffy. I didn't remember the Yo Gabba Gabba cameo at all, but I'll try to remember it for the lore video this month. Now here's where I have to break you guys the bad news. I couldn't enjoy this for the life of me. What? Because all I could think about was how much I loved the plot of Vampire James and the Vampire Hunter. I thought it was so hot. When it first came out, that was the most charged thing 12-year-old Athena had ever watched. And 25-year-old Athena just wants to forget because it's so cringy, like full body cringe. Not even Big Night, one of the best songs ever, could save the absolute dread I felt while watching this. The music is the best part of the show, for sure. But everything else, in this episode at least, is an F from me. I know, it's so surprising. Middle school Athena and early high school Athena would beat the shit out of me. The Backyardigans episode Scared of You. This Backyardigans episode is supposedly the Halloween redemption for my last year's choice. Apparently the one I chose last year was not the right one. But look at us, we still had so much fun. First thing we learn in this episode is that it's Austin's birthday. If it's near Halloween, he's either a Libra or a Scorpio, but he seems more like a Libra to me. I say, not knowing anything about astrology. The boy's a Libra. Tasha being Dr. Frankenstein is such an iconic casting. And Austin is the perfect Igor, are you kidding me? No one is as passive as Austin. He's the only type B personality in this whole damn group. I love the plot armor that the kids will throw in while imagining. Austin was like, yes, vampire language. That I, of course, can read. It's what kids actually do. I just think the writing is so cute. The entire episode is Austin unknowingly inviting these monsters to his surprise party. And each of the monsters sing the incredible song, I'm Scared of You. I am scared of you. S tier. You are all very correct. This is the superior special. George Lopez. I picked this special for 2 reasons. 1, I love the way this was phrased. I have a faded memory of the George Lopez show having a Halloween special, because I just think that's how everyone feels about this show. Oh God, is it 3 a.m.? And the second reason, my YouTube community members and I just played this game together where we write a fanfiction together. And there was one that had to do with George Lopez, and the section of that I wrote included the line, "Does Fletcher have flatulence?" he chuckled. "A classic George Lopez zinger. He could write a movie, nay, a show about his ghost hunting adventures. Yeah," he thought. "I'm that guy. A silly sitcom guy." And look at how I reacted to my joke being read out loud.
Yeah, he thought, "I'm that guy. A silly sitcom guy." Yeah.
So to see the George Lopez show get recommended after that moment, I knew I had to revisit. This episode had me chuckling throughout. The flashback of Kid George, where it's just a kid's body, but then George Lopez's giant head on the body. They did that shit all the time, and every time it was funny to me. It never got old. One last thing, yeah, we kind of zoomed by this one, but this show is less episodic than I remember it being. This episode ended with George being so fed up with his mom bullying him and his wife sticking up for his mom that he moved out, and that's where the episode ended. Right as the conflict arose. Like, there's a lot happening, a lot of drama in the George Lopez show. I'm gonna put it in B tier because even though I was entertained throughout, it really wasn't that Halloween-y. Ned's Declassified. I picked this one because I loved the show as a kid, and not only that, I need to rant about the cast for just a little bit. I keep seeing clips from their podcast being recommended to me, and as much as I'm a hoe for nostalgia, I do not understand those podcasts. It feels like I'm watching a lot of inside jokes that I'm not in on. Remember that one time on set? Oh, during that episode with all the oranges. Yeah. Everyone was like, she can't have those. We were crazy back then. It's always some shit like that, or them whining over the fact that they didn't get a reboot, which, in my opinion, is not deserved or justified, because this series, if I remember correctly, actually had a wonderful way of wrapping everything up. They got like a proper series finale, a luxury most shows don't even get. Now for a positive anecdote, and then I swear we'll talk about the actual episode. This show came out when I was in elementary school, and when I watched and Ned's notes would come up about like advice for middle school, I would literally write them down. Like they would help me with middle school. I had a notebook full of Ned's Declassified advice. Did it help? No. The first episode is all about how they think they scared their principal to death. Also, the mannequin body double is hilarious. This show has an A episode and a B episode. So the first one is rooted in their reality, and then the second one, they're real-life monsters. The monsters episode was a lot like the Ant Farm monsters episode, but I'm sorry, better. And all the costumes they dressed up as in the first episode is what they are in the second episode. It's cute, okay? Take a look at this clip. And the monsters episode ends with all of them dying from a dynamite explosion. But just kidding, silly gooses. It was all a dream. Boo! Commit to the bit. A tier. I think it helps that I loved this show as a kid. And lastly, Girl vs. Monster, a Disney original movie. The very first line of this movie is, yeah. Whatever happened to hello? How are you? My name is. So the yeah guy is the main character Sky's best friend, and they also mutually have a crush on each other. Something you should know about our main character Sky is that she's not like other girls. She can casually jump 6 feet in the air, and she doesn't feel fear. What's that about? So unknown to Skylar, both of her parents are monster hunters. They caught a gargoyle and this demon dog. The real plot of this movie starts moving when Skylar accidentally lets out this monster that her parents kept trapped for 15 years. Damata is the main monster, and she's the one that's responsible and feeds off of Skylar's fear, which is why Skylar never experienced it until now. That's what was Damata with her. The cheesy special effects are giving me Halloween Town vibes in the best way. Damata took over Skylar's crush's ex-girlfriend's body and exclaimed in the mirror, "Now that's what I call smoking hot." Dude, she's 15! Ew! What's Damata with you? I won't make that joke again. But Disney, what the fuck was that? What's Damata with you? The crush saw Skylar get bullied off of his stage by his ex-girlfriend, and what does he do? He just kept playing. What a catch. All of them faced their fears through singing, asking out their crush, and correctly spelling the word goat. No, I won't explain. Watch the movie. A lot more stuff happens, but I'm gonna leave it there because I think it's worth watching. Other than that mirror scene, it is 10 out of 10. Definition of camp. That's an S tier from me. Right up my alley of stupid, silly fun. What a fun time we had together. Thank you so much, as always, to my YouTube members, Discord members. Shout out to my second channel. I did a vlog of me putting this makeup on. I just needed to vent about stuff. And I hope you have a great day, butt lovers. Bye!